If your photos feel inconsistent, even after all the tips, practice, gear, and editing, this could be why. You don't have a camera problem or even a settings problem. You could have a process problem. And when the process is weak, every result could feel random. Some images might work by accident. And if the process is weak, every result could feel random. Some images might work by accident. Some will fail for reasons you really can't explain. That could be exactly why your photography needs a reset. And that's okay, because a reset doesn't mean starting completely over. It means stripping the process back down to what actually matters. Most photographers add more before they understand the basics deeply enough. They chase lenses, presets, settings, tricks, and shortcuts. But the real issue is usually much simpler. They shoot before they decide. They fix after the fact instead of solving before they press the shutter. That keeps the results unstable. And that's what the series has really been about. Your photos feel random when you shoot before deciding. Your subject gets lost when it competes. Backgrounds ruin photos when they aren't controlled. Images feel flat when they have no path, when they have no depth. The eye gets distraction when the frame leaks attention. Cropping doesn't fix structure. Good light doesn't rescue weak decisions. Frames feel off when spacing and balance aren't working. Nothing stands out when hierarchy is missing. So here's the pattern. Those sound like separate problems, but they aren't. They're all symptoms of the same thing. The photographer notices the scene, but he does not build the frame intentionally enough before taking the photo. That is the pattern underneath almost every weak image. The subject may be interesting. The light might be beautiful. The moment may be real. But if the frame isn't built with intention, the final image still feels weaker than it should. So why does this matter? People often think improvement means adding complexity. They think they need more rules, more settings knowledge, more expensive gear, more editing skill, or simply more speed. But most of the time, improvement comes from subtraction. Less reacting, less clutter, less guessing, less dependence on rescue. Better photos usually do not come from doing more random things. They come from making fewer, clearer, stronger decisions before the shutter. So here's the real reset. The reset isn't about becoming technical. It's about becoming more intentional. It's about changing the order of operations. First, decide what the photo is about. Then build the frame around the decision. Then check to see what it might be competing with it. Then check the edges. Then check the background. Then check the depth. Then shoot. That process sounds simple, but simple processes produce strong results when applied consistently. So why do photos feel random? A lot of photographers think randomness is just part of photography. They think some images work and some don't, and that's just how it goes. But randomness is often a sign that the process isn't stable enough. If you cannot explain why one photo worked and the next one didn't, that really isn't useful information. It means you are still relying on chance more than you should be. Reset reduces the dependence. What's the subject question? The reset starts with one question. What is the photo actually about? Not what is visible, not what happens to be interesting in the scene. What is the photo actually about? A face, a shape, a line of light, a bird or animal, a building shadow. Until that answer is clear, there is no real structure yet. There's only visual possibilities. We should start by building a hierarchy. Once that data is clear, the next job is hierarchy. The subject has to win. It cannot just exist somewhere in the frame. It needs to dominate the experience of the image. That may mean moving closer, simplifying the background, controlling brightness, cleaning the edges, or waiting for a better moment. But the subject needs to be stronger than everything else around it. If the frame treats everything equally, the image loses power fast. So next, let's talk about background and distractions. The camera records all of it. Bright spots, mergers, clutter, half shapes, busy detail, strong lines, along with edge junk. Your eye may ignore those things at the moment, but the camera will not, and the viewer won't either. So the reset means building the habit of seeing what the frame sees, not just what emotionally caught your attention first. Next is depth and space. A lot of weak photos are not weak because the subject is bad. They are weak because the frame has no front-to-back structure. Everything feels pressed into one plane. The reset means looking for layers. Foreground, subject, background, distance between them, space around them. A photo feels stronger when the eye can move. That sense of movement is part of what makes an image feel built instead of merely captured. Now we'll talk about the frame itself. Is it stable? Is the subject cramped against one side? Is the visual weight leaning? Does the empty weight make sense? Is the border of the photo helping the subject, or quietly making the image feel off? These questions matter because even a good subject can feel weak inside a badly constructed container. And the frame is what holds everything together. So let me explain why cropping and light won't always save the photo. Cropping changes boundaries, but not the actual structure. Good light changes the mood, but not weak decisions. Both can help refine an image and make it strong, but neither can reliably rescue an image when it is weak. The reset means you stop depending on those things as substitute for construction. You build the image first, then let cropping refine it, and let light enhance it instead of carrying it. So here's the final checklist. If you want one practical reset, this could be it. Before you shoot, ask, what is this photo about? Does the subject wink clearly? What is the background doing? What is brightest? What is stealing attention? Does the frame have depth? If you can answer those questions honestly before taking the shot, your hit rate goes up fast because the process becomes intentional instead of reactive. So why does this work across all genres? This works across everything. Portraits, wildlife, travel, architecture, real estate, street, macro, landscapes, all of it. Why? Because they are not niche rules. They are frame rules. They are perception rules. The camera always records the whole frame. The eye always looks for hierarchy. The background always affects the subject. The edges always matter. Space always feels how an image feels. That means the reset is photography specific. And that's why it's so useful. So what's the biggest mistake to avoid? The mistake is thinking you need to memorize all of them before you practice better. You don't need 50 new tricks right now. You need stronger repetition of the right process. Slow down, decide sooner, move more, simplify faster, check the borders, protect the subject, build the layers. That is how you retain the eye. Not by collecting more disconnected advice, but by applying the same solid process until it becomes automatic enough to trust. So what does improvement really look like? Real improvement starts looking different once you begin working this way. You take fewer random photos. You miss less for reasons you just don't understand. You stop relying on luck so much. You start noticing why one frame works and the other one fails. Editing becomes easier because the original files are stronger. Cropping becomes lighter because the frame was better. And the biggest change is your confidence. You begin to trust your decisions because you know what you were trying to build. We can clearly see the difference in this photo. Same general scene, but now the subject is clear. The background supports it. The distractions are reduced. The frame feels stable. The layers are readable. The eye knows where to go first. That is what a reset looks like. Not a magic setting, a better process, producing a better result. Because the photo was built with intention before pressing the shutter. So remember, your goal was not perfection. The goal was control. You were trying to reduce accidents and increase intention. You were trying to understand your own results. You're trying to stop wondering why your photos feel weak and start being able to diagnose the real problem quickly. Once you can diagnose the reason, you can fix it. And once you can fix it, photography stops feeling random and starts feeling fun and rewarding, like a skill you can actually steer. So if your photos need a reset, don't start by buying more, tweaking more, or chasing more. Start by seeing better and deciding earlier. Ask, what is the photo about? Build around that answer. Control what competes with it. Protect the edges. Use depth. Stabilize the frame. Let light support the image instead of define it. Do that consistently, and your photos start getting better, stronger. Not by accident, but because your process finally deserves stronger results. I'm Chris with Kapture by CK. Jesus. I'm Chris with Kapture by CK. Real estate, nature, and wildlife photography in Tampa Bay and all over the world. I hope this helps. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great one. Bye-bye.